precious little time together, so we're going to have to go fast. My steps towards actually making the change that you want to make to get across that chasm. But for most people, there's a mistaken belief that you're born with something. You either are or you aren't. Now, the complex nature of this is none of us are blank slates. It's not like you can have any skill that you want, that we all start in the same place and you can become, literally anything, and it's going to be just as easy for you as it is for the next person. So you do have to have an awareness of what you're good at, what you get disproportionate returns from. But I'm hoping, in telling you my story, you guys are going to understand just how much you can change, just how radically your life will alter when you change your mindset, which then changes the way that you behave, which changes the things that you do, which changes the things that you learn, and then once you go down that sequence, you can actually do things other people can't do. My mission in life is to get people to understand the simple fact about skills. Skills have utility. You don't get a skill because you want to check off a box. You don't read a book because you want to put it on your shelf. You acquire a skill because you want to be able to do something. You want to be able to do something that matters to you. I always tell people, close your eyes, imagine a world that's better than this world. Now open your eyes and go out and get the skills that will let you actually make that happen. That's what life is about. The very meaning of life to me is finding out how much of your potential you can turn into actual skills. That's the name of the game. That's what you guys are here to do. You're here to find out how much of your potential you can actually turn into usable skills. Can you build a house? Can you write a book? Can you market? Can you teach? Whatever it is, whatever the thing is that you want to do, you can get extraordinary at that thing, but it is going to demand an exceptional price. And most people are not willing to pay that price. You were telling me I could do anything I wanted to do, that I needed to chase my dreams, but you actually thought I was going to fail? And she was like, yeah, you used to say that you were going to be rich, and we used to laugh about it behind your back. It was, no way, this kid's so fucking lazy. Literally never going to happen. But she never told me that. She'd always encouraged me. So when she kicked me out of the house, told me to chase my dreams, I went and chased my dreams. Later, I asked my best friend, what did you think? Like when I was in high school, what did you think was going to happen? And he said, I just always assumed you were going to marshmallow your way through life. I was like, whoa. And then, this was the hardest one for sure. When I met the woman who's now my wife, and I fell in love, and I thought, I'm going to marry this chick. But she's old school. Her dad's this old school Greek guy. This is all happening here in London, by the way. And I knew that before I could ask her, I was going to have to get her father's blessing. I made 3 appointments to see him. Each appointment he canceled. The third appointment he canceled, he said, my other daughter has a spider bite. I have to go deal with it. Do we pre-program everything? Or do we pre-program as little as humanly possible? A horse. Most of it is pre-programmed. That's why the horse comes out 20 minutes later, it's walking around. Think about a baby. The baby is born. It can't hold its own head up. It shits in its own pants. It can't speak, can't do anything. It is literally a lump of flesh that clings to you for dear life for years. We have any parents in the crowd? Think about how long those fuckers are needy. It's crazy. But what's happening is they're learning. They're a learning machine. Now, because we learn easiest when we're young, we have developed the mistaken belief that we don't learn when we get old, which is how people fall into a trap of believing you're either born with it or you're not. Now, we're all born with different stuff, even from the jump. Some people just pick things up faster than others. If you have 2 kids, they'll be wildly different, and nothing shocks parents more than the divergent personalities of their children. But kids are wildly divergent. We're all wildly divergent, but we all have one thing in common. The evolutionary strategy that has led you to dominate this planet in a way no other species ever has in hundreds of millions of years is we are the ultimate adaptation machine. That is the strategy that our species took. The ability to go into any environment, know nothing about it, and then adapt to that environment. Embrace that. When you fall in love with the process of getting that good, then shit gets interesting. And I always tell people, forget about the championship ring. Focus on getting so good you can deliver a championship performance. That's interesting. The championship ring is not that interesting. Maybe you'll win one, maybe you won't. But you can get that good. You can get so good that your destiny now is in your hands because you have the skills to execute. So my business career began because I wanted to get into filmmaking. But I didn't know how to do it. I graduated college, felt lost, felt hopeless. I was in my early 20s, and I had no sense of how to start my career. I was sleeping on an air mattress that would deflate every night. For a while, I slept on the air mattress that deflated every night in a closet. I had to put dirty clothes under the bed so that when it deflated, I wouldn't wake up on the bar that the closet door ran along. And that was my life. And I would come home after work. I used to sell insurance door to door. I sold video games retail. This is all after college. And I would lay on the floor with my face smashing into this really cheap vinyl carpet. And I just thought, what the fuck? Like, how do I get ahead? How do I do this? How do I make this happen? I have no sense. And then I started reading about the brain because I was getting worried that I was sliding towards depression. And I had this overwhelming sense that I had been born. Has anybody seen the movie Amadeus? Right, in the movie Amadeus, there's a character named Salieri. Salieri has a soliloquy that he says to God. This is a real character, by the way. And Salieri is a contemporary of Mozart. And he says to God, God, why have you made me just good enough that I can see and truly appreciate how much better Mozart is? And that he laments, it would have been better to be dumb and to not know how good he was, to not suffer on paper and being wealthy in your bank account, which not a lot of people understand. There's a very big functional difference. And I was so emotionally distraught. I was showing up every day just trying to chase money. I didn't care about the product. I didn't care about the customer I was trying to serve. And it was really beginning to drain me. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, how is it possible that I'm living the cliche of money? It's a joke. So I went to my wife and I said, look, I know I promised I would make you rich, but I'm going to need a little more time. I need to step back. I need to feel alive again. I am so profoundly unhappy. It isn't worth it anymore. And my wife said, I bet on you. And so I went in and I quit. And I said, look, here's your equity back. I'm not going to cross the finish line, so I don't want to get anything for this. But I need to go do something that makes me feel alive. And then they said, what are now the sort of famous words in my life, we could do this without you, but we don't want to. So what would it take for us to keep moving forward together? And the answer to that question was Quest Nutrition. For three very different reasons. We decided that we were going to sell the old company and start a new company that was focused on adding value to people's lives. That was something that we could be passionate about, something that we believed in, because I had realized one fundamental truth. And this is something I really want you guys to burn into your nervous system. If you're taking notes, write this down. The struggle is guaranteed. The success is not. The struggle is guaranteed, but the success is not. Some of you are going to spend your whole lives busting your ass for a dream that is never going to come true. So you better love the struggle. You better believe in what you're fighting for. And my dad gave me a plaque. And that plaque said, find something you would die for and live for it. And I thought, this is one of those cheesy roadside signs that you see in like an antique shop. But I'm going to let this guide my life. And so I put it up in my office, and I thought about it all the time. There's a Mother Teresa quote that says, nobody will act for the many, but people will act for the one. And so I started thinking about my mom and my sister. And I pledged myself to end metabolic disease. That the next company was going to be about building community around the mission to end metabolic disease. And I knew that I could show up every day fighting for my mom and my sister. My mom and my sister were morbidly obese. There's a very simple, logical reason. That all of the equipment in the last 70 years has grown up, been engineered and designed to work with high fructose corn syrup. The moment you take the high fructose corn syrup out, which is sugar, the texture of the bar changes just enough that all of the available equipment no longer works. So now you can make it with a rolling pin and cut it by hand, and we were doing that for a while, or you can engineer your own equipment. So, skill acquisition. When we went to what are called co-manufacturers, companies, they don't have their own brand, but they make products for other brands, we went to them and they all said, this bar cannot be made, you need to add high fructose corn syrup. Every person in human history before us that got to that point and heard you need to add high fructose corn syrup, did it. And that's exactly what opened that opportunity up for us. What we did was say, well, we can learn how to engineer equipment. And so we did, because we had such blinding belief that you can learn anything. We had this vision. Humans are the ultimate adaptation machine. Sure, we don't know how to do this yet, but we can learn how to do this. There's literally nothing that we can't learn if we're willing to put in the time and the energy. And so we took the time and the energy and we built the equipment, we engineered new equipment, we engineered new ways to do this. We did the same thing on the social and marketing side. We were doing what we now call social media marketing, influencer marketing, all that. Didn't have that name back then. We were one of the first companies to do it. We were shooting all of our own content in Los Angeles. I will help you with your homework. Is that fair? And he said yes. That turned into an 8.5-year relationship. Now, the bad news to this story is I do not end up saving him from his zip code. If you want to be freaked out, and if you want to understand why I do what I do, and why the message that I'm trying to impart today is so important, at least in America, the #1 predictor of your success is your zip code. It is not your IQ. Your IQ, let this sink in, your IQ has less bearing on your future success than the neighborhood that you grow up in. Because the neighborhood you grew up in sets your mindset. And a shit mindset in a high-powered machine is still a shit mindset. And if you don't have your mindset right, if you don't have the right beliefs, values, identity, if you don't have those things in place, no matter how smart you are, chances are you will not escape. Because you lack the only belief that matters, that you can learn and get better. And if you don't believe that you can learn and get better, you will forever be stuck. So having that in my past, so unfortunately I did not know, but Rashawn was being abused at home. By the time it was found out, they took him out of the home, they made me the guardian, I helped him get into foster care, and then he got moved farther and farther away. This all happened at a time where I didn't have a growth mindset, so there was no way for me to pass on a growth mindset. And every time I've tried to look him up and get in touch with him, I see legal troubles. So I know I did not save him from that. But you flash forward at Quest, and out of my 3,000 employees, about 1,000 of them grew up hard like Rashawn did. Whatever life you imagine for yourself, the next time you think about it, I want you to allow yourself to believe that it's real. That you actually can walk that path. That you actually can cross that chasm. And how do I know? Because 15 years after my father-in-law said to me, "How do you plan to take care of my daughter?" "I don't want you to marry her." I flew him to LA. And I gave him a tour of my 300,000 square foot facility with thousands of employees, making bars at $1.5 million a day. And I walked him around and I said, Andreas, do you remember asking me how I would take care of your daughter? And he said, yes. And I said, how am I doing? No matter what people think about you, no matter how many people have doubted you, it really is your path to walk. You really can become great. It doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. It certainly wasn't easy for me. It was relentlessly facing my insecurities and my lack of skills and actually being dumb at things and making mistakes and constantly embarrassing myself. But eventually, I got so good, I couldn't be ignored. And that is the demand you should make of yourselves. All right, thank you guys.